Hi and welcome to my channel. It's so lovely to have you here. My name is Bernadette and I am a business consultant and mindset coach, and I primarily work with those in the creative industry. I've been in business for over 21 years, owning multiple businesses, and there's nothing I love more than supporting small business owners so that they can scale and grow, bringing them more freedom, joy and profit. Now today I'm going to be talking to you about 12 different ways that you can market your small business without using social media. So many of my clients talk to me about how they just don't like social media. They feel uncomfortable with being visible, they find it clicky, and they just don't enjoy it. And I think sometimes there could be a pressure, particularly in the creative industry, where you feel this is the only way that you can market your business. But that simply isn't true. And I wonder somewhat if over the last few years people have actually forgotten about all the other marketing methods they are, when they're putting all the emphasis into social media to the detriment of all the other marketing channels that are available for you. The other thing to bear in mind is that you could, and this has happened to so many people before, you could get kicked out of your social media platform. You could be suspended, you could be blocked, and then all of those, thousands of people in your audience that you have been nurturing and connecting with, they're gone. You've got no way of getting them back again. And so I would encourage you to don't just rely on one marketing stream. Have a number of marketing streams that you feel aligned with, that you feel connected with, to ensure that you can get the very best for your business. Now, it's not just social media, to be honest. When I think about the wedding industry, I know that there are suppliers who built really good relationships with venues, and the venues recommend them. They then don't bother doing anything else. They just rely on the venues sending them referrals. But then the venue closes down, or it has new owners, or the venue coordinators change, and all of a sudden they're not getting referred anymore. And they end up with a wedding season with hardly any bookings. And that's because they put all their eggs in one basket. They were just relying on that one revenue, that one referral scheme, which was the venues. So when you have a business, you need to understand that you can't just rely on one method. Choose the ones that resonate with you. Now, we will be talking about this, but it is also vitally important that you work on the SEO and that you are driving traffic to your website. Your website is the house you own. Social media is the house that you rent, to give it an analogy. And so many people just don't even focus on their websites, and it's nuts. More on that in a minute. Okay, so as always, whenever I do these episodes, you can also read about it over on my blog. So just down below, there'll be all the relevant links that will take you directly to the blog article, so you can read about it as well. It also has all my social media platforms, if you do want to come and hang out with me on social media. And as always, I would love it if you could support my small channel here, and if you can hit that like button, if you could subscribe, I would really appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Okay, so without further ado, let's go through the 12 different ways that you can market your business, market your small, wonderful, amazing business without using social media. Little caveat, okay? I am not saying social media is evil. It is not. And I still recommend that you use social media in some form. You don't have to be on every single channel. You don't. If you learn the art of repurposing, which I don't talk about here, I'm going to do that in another episode. If you learn the art of repurposing, it doesn't have to be exhausting. It can be quite fun. Okay, so let's think about... Oh, when we go through this list, by the way, ask yourself, where is it that my clients hang out? And that's where you should be. So when we go through this, have a little think about, okay, is that where my clients would be? Does that make sense for me? That rhymed. Okay, number one, we've got to start with this one because it is my absolute favourite. Members of the UKWP, current and past clients of BCC will probably be groaning when I say this because they already know what I'm going to say. The first thing is blogging. Again, it surprises me how many people don't do this. Blogging has been incredibly successful for my past wedding planning business and the UKWP. I'm just building up the blogging for BCC at the moment, but it is so beneficial and you will get hits year after year after year, whereas the longevity on a social media post is much smaller. You really are only catching their attention over like a 24-hour, 2-day period, whereas with blogging it is much longer. It is definitely underused by small businesses and especially underused by those in the creative industry because, let's face it, it's not fun, is it? It's not as exciting as choosing what beautiful images to post on social media. I get it, honestly, I do. But if you always think about what is the pain points that my clients have, what is the problem that they have, and how is it that I am going to be helping them? What is it they need from me? What are the pain points they have? What are the questions that they have? And then you set about answering those questions, because guess what? Those questions that they have in their head, where's the first place that they ask them? Straight onto Google or any other search engine they might be using. That's exactly where they go. So what if they typed a question into their search engine and your blog article came up? What if they were then able to browse through your website and then have an understanding of how you can help them with the problem that they may have or the need that they have, whatever that may well be? Now, the beauty of blogging is you can repurpose it in so many different ways. You've got the content written once, repurpose it in so many different ways without you having to create it from scratch again. The other thing is it is so good for the SEO, but a little caveat, it is a slow burner, okay? It should be your long game plan. This isn't a short fix. This is something that's going to help drive traffic to your website and improve it year after year. So it is a long game. So don't just rely on it, but do have that patience to do it. And actually, it will help you then repurpose whatever it is that you are writing. Now, there are a number of ways that you can do it. And because some people say to me, listen, I don't like writing, and that's okay. So the way that I do it, I do like writing. So I tend to write my blog post first, and then I record a video using the notes from my blog post. That's why you'll quite often see me glancing down as I'm looking at my notes. I'm not that good that I can remember it all off the top of my head. And use reader I will never be. Although, in hindsight, they do have the auto cue. So I write it first, then I do my video, and then I use snippets from that to repurpose. As I said, I'm going to talk about that on another episode. But let's say you actually find it difficult to sit down and write, but you're more comfortable going on video. Could you record a video and then you transcribe that? So there are brilliant websites, and one of them is called rev.com, and for very little money they can transcribe your video, and then you just need to obviously edit it, and then that's your blog article. Or there are people that can write it for you. So there are various people like in the wedding industry, in the creative industry, that will write blog posts for you. So could that be an option for you? So as I said, it is a slow game. It takes time to build momentum, but it's really good for your SEO, and it's really good for repurposing as well. There's also a really good book. I'm going to try and remember to put all these links down below, but there's a really good book that I always recommend that you read, and it's called They Ask You Answer. It's quite a short book, but it really gives you an understanding of, okay, what are the questions that your clients have. The other book that I would recommend actually is Building Your Brand. That's another really good one. It's behind me on my bookcase. Okay, so that is one. That's followed quite neatly by number 2, which is SEO. Okay, so you should be focusing on driving traffic to your website. That is the house you own. That's where you want them to be hanging out, because that is where you could nurture them. I mean, did you know that you only have 0.02 seconds, I think it is, to make a first impression when someone lands on your website? So what you want is you want to make that right impression when they do land on your website by ensuring that you're answering the questions that they may have in a number of ways, not just your blogging, but across your website as well. So work on your keywords. Make sure that your copy is really clear. Sometimes in the creative industry, you put too much emphasis on the images and actually hardly any emphasis on the copy. Copy is really important. Think of those keywords. Think of the questions that your clients have. Think about how you could describe what you do. A tip for me, though, is please don't use this as a way of bringing forth your creative writing in such a way that it makes absolutely no sense. Use clear, concise language that people understand. Sometimes, and again in the creative industry, especially in the wedding industry, people can be too fluffy with the terminology and it makes absolutely no sense at all. You can hire a copywriter. If you hire a copywriter, make sure that they are strategic, that they understand that this is to help drive traffic to your website. It is not about just having this really beautifully designed website with flowery words and descriptive texts that mean absolutely nothing. It is not going to help you with your SEO, and more importantly, your potential clients are going to land on your website and go, what? You do what? So really think about the copy on your website that is going to talk to your potential clients. Really, really important. So the blogging and the SEO kind of go hand in hand. I know it's not exciting, but it is well worth ensuring that you spend some time making sure that the copy is right. Okay, so I cannot emphasize that enough. And if you are unsure on how to do it, I mean, there are lots and lots of courses, but if you're unsure, then consider hiring a copywriter to help you with that. I'll see if I can put a few down below for you as well. Okay, third is community. So join a community for your industry and or location. Go in with the aim of how can you help support others, as opposed to going in with the aim of what can you do for me? Okay, go in with the how can you support others. I believe very strongly in what goes around comes around. Paying it forward. So by helping somebody, they will then be remembering you and helping you in the future. So build relationships with members or attendees at these events. Refer clients to them in the future. I mean, when I set up the UKWP, a big emphasis was on community over competition, and that hasn't changed all these years later. I have members that have been with me for over a decade. The normal length for a membership is less than 2 years. I have people that have been with me well over a decade. The average length, the last time I checked, was about 5 years. And that's because the community aspect is really important for us, that we all get to know each other, support each other, network with each other, refer business to each other. And that is really essential for us. So is there a community that you can join that is going to help you, that can refer business to you, but also people that you can build collaborations with, that you can work with together perhaps in the future? 4 is a referral scheme. How many of you have a referral scheme? Your past clients are your biggest fans. So are you asking them to refer clients to you? If you don't ask, they won't even think about it. It's not that they're being rude, but it just won't occur to them. So can you create a referral scheme for your past clients that is where they're going to be obviously recommending you, and in return you'll send them a present. just as a way of thank you. As I said, it's not that they just don't think about it. They're not being rude, but it just doesn't occur to them. So what kind of referral scheme can you send to your past clients when you are offboarding them, when you send that very last email, when you're asking them for that testimonial? Add in what your thoughts are on your referral scheme. Get them referring you as well. And in fact, you could also do this with other suppliers and your industry peers. So it doesn't actually have to just be your past clients. So a referral scheme is probably more for your past clients, but actually from a business point of view, you've got like affiliate schemes. So you can set up affiliate schemes. So other people in the business sector will be referring you, and in return, you then pay them a certain amount of money. So think about that. Okay, 5 is a podcast. So in fact, this is one of my things this year. I'd set myself a target to appear once a month on a podcast or a summit or a Facebook Live or a speaking engagement, but once a month I wanted to be featured. And so far that has happened. And in fact, if you go over to the blog article, I've got links to 2 podcasts that I was on this year, so you can go and have a little listen to that. Also, if you are part of my email community, you will see I've been talking about an online money summit that I am presenting at as well. So are there podcasts that you too could be a guest on, where you are able to showcase your knowledge, which is the benefit of that. It's called piggybacking on an audience. So what that means is you have your audience, the podcaster has their audience. By you being featured on their audience, you are then being shown to their audience. So it is a way for you to be able to grow your audience and spread your word and spread your worth so that more people can know about you. Okay, number 6 is YouTube. I know, I hear you screaming at social media, but it's not. It's actually a search engine. It is not social media. So the other benefit is again SEO. I know I keep saying this, but actually by doing videos, that then, provided you choose the right titles, that then shows up on your search engines. So think about starting a YouTube channel. I know many people in the creative industry where it's been so successful for them, and they've really grown their audience from doing it. So think about the questions that your clients have and how can you answer that in your YouTube videos. Remember that you can repurpose. You can create little snippets of that, share it on social media. You can record like a little snippet and have it as YouTube shorts. And actually reverse of that, if you've done TikToks and Instagram Reels, download them and then upload them onto YouTube Shorts. They're really pushing that right now. And I think at the moment it's only 15 seconds, I think. I could be wrong. So don't quote me on that. So consider having your YouTube channel. You've got 2 ways of doing this, as I said earlier. So write the blog post and then record a video based on what you have written, or record the video first and then transcribe it using something like Rev.com. But there are other ones out there as well. And if you do, send me your YouTube link. Pop it in the comments. In fact, if you've already got a YouTube channel, pop it in the comments below, because I'd love to come over to your channel and support you as well. Okay, 7 is networking. So research networking groups that are in your area or for your sector, because it could be one or the other. There are wedding specific meetups and networking groups. Be strategic and go to a plan. So I know that when I launched my wedding planning business, I was invited to everything. Like, honestly, I could have been in London once a week attending, this soiree, this dinner, this coffee. I mean, it was ridiculous. And in the beginning, it's like, oh, it's so good. But my advice is be strategic. What option is going to really benefit you? Where will you make the best connections, and how will that, help you scale your business? Now, there are a few things that I would recommend if you are going to a networking group. And hey, listen, this is coming from an introvert. That's my dog that you can hear. This is coming from an introvert. That networking events are actually a little bit of a struggle for me, but if I can do it, anybody can do it. So first of all, here are my top tips, speaking as an introvert. Go armed with an introduction as to what you do, an elevator pitch, if you will, so that you don't just become tongue-tied and describing what you do. So be confident, clear and concise as to what it is that you do and how you help others. Take some icebreaker questions with you so you can truly get to know the attendees. Ask just 2 or 3. Now, I have compiled a list. So again, if you go to my blog post, you'll see them written down there. So ask just a few questions and then move on to the next person. Bonus tip is if you take a photo or take a selfie, save them as a contact and write notes in your phone, the date that you met them, where you met them, and any answers to questions. Because if you then meet them in the future, or if you then connect with them in the future perhaps, you're then able to remember, okay, who are they? Or you're able to say, oh, and how was your holiday to Mexico? I think the last time we spoke you were just about to jet off. This shows that you care. This shows that you listened. Okay, so I have to write little notes because my memory is terrible. I'm sure if I ever had it tested. So this is a way of you remembering. I always put faces into my phone as well, even if I'm going onto their website and snapping a picture from their website so I can remember who they are, because again, I'm not very good with faces. But that's just me. Okay, some of the questions that you could ask. Oh, first of all, keep it open-ended. Don't ask just yes/no questions. It's going to be a very stilted conversation and you're not going to get very far. So have open-ended questions. Don't make them too hard or too cringeworthy, because none of us want that, do we? Actively listen to what they say. Don't interrupt. Okay, so if you had a magic wand, what's the one thing that you would change about your business or the industry? In fact, I love asking this to my clients. I always ask this. Can you tell me a little about your business? So ask them that. What motivated you to get into wedding planning, into baking cakes, into being a personal stylist or an accountant or whatever it is? What made you to decide to attend this event today? Who do you think I should go and talk to today? And what do you like to do outside of work? Now, clearly you are not going to ask all these questions, but it's just that if you've got them in the back of your mind, you're then not stumbling, and that you are able to actively ask something. Remember to be you. So yes, be professional, and be on brand, I dare say, but be approachable, be personable, be friendly. Remember the like, no, trust factor. So you're trying to see if they are a good fit as a client, or someone that you might want to collaborate with, or whether they have a network of people who could be your potential clients. And it's really just building up your network. Honestly, there is a saying that says your network is your net worth. I have to get my words out there so I don't say it wrong. And then it's true, it is the people you know quite often. So if you just spend a proportion of your time building your community, building your network, and maybe a little less time on social media, I mean, the benefits are huge. And don't forget, if you're going to networking events, in fact, you can still be going on social media with your Instagram stories. Everybody loves the behind the scenes, don't they? So then you don't actually have to think about what to post that day. Okay, focus on them and less on business. So get to know them as people. Do you want to work with them? Do you like them? Do they make you cringe? I've had this before. I really trust my instincts, and sometimes the people are like, don't know about you, you make me really uncomfortable. And it doesn't matter how good their credentials are, if they make me feel uneasy, I'm not going to want to work with them. So think about doing that. And don't forget to mingle. I see you introverts hugging the outside of the room because I've been there and done it. But set yourself a little task. I'm going to speak to at least 5 people before I leave. And if you feel really uneasy, is there someone that you can walk into the room with? I don't like entering a room. In fact, all my UK AWP members know this, and I love them so much. All my long-term members. And when I used to go to big soirees in London, I would quite often meet up with one of them beforehand, just so I could enter the room. Now this is, I've been on TV numerous times, live TV, live radio. I've spoken on stage in front of hundreds of people. I've been on international stage. Yet walking into a networking event, but just by walking in with somebody, I'm then okay. Then I'm able to work the room. So think of what would make you feel more confident. And again, if you are an introvert, just recognise that after the event you will need to recharge your batteries, which is doing something quiet so that you can relax and reframe. That's always really important for me. Okay, this is a slightly longer video than we normally do because there are so many tips. Okay, 8 is wedding/creative fairs. There's always ones relevant for the sector you're in. Consider exhibiting at a trade show where you can showcase your work, you can speak to potential clients. Consider whether your ideal clients go there. So for example, for a wedding planner, our ideal clients don't go to wedding fairs. So that isn't really where you're going to get clients. But other sectors like a cake maker, photographer, yes, they would. So think about your ideal clients. Would they go to this specific fair? If so, consider exhibiting. It gives you a chance to showcase physical work, and it gives you a chance to connect with them, to build that likability factor as well. Okay, and then if you are doing that, so the thing that I was just thinking about there is it can be costly. So that's why it's really important to work out, is it right for you? Ask the people that are organising it, where are they promoting it? How many people do they normally get through the door? See if you can speak to somebody in your category that has exhibited before. Did it work for them? Do your research. Don't believe anything that you see. So actually do your research before you agree to it. Okay, PR. All that energy schmoozing clients on social media. What about if you use some of that energy to really connect with journalists instead? This will really lift your profile. It builds you up as an expert, and also it shows credibility. It's one thing telling clients how amazing you are, but it's another thing when actually an external source is saying it. When you are featured somewhere, whether that's TV, radio, or magazines, newspapers, what that is subliminally saying is that you can be trusted and that you are an expert in this particular field. So journalists are invariably busy, and once they have connected with you once, they will normally be liaising with you again in the future. I have a number of journalists that always reach out to me with any kind of wedding related news, and so I've been featured in like the Times and the Telegraph and the Guardian. I mean, like so many different times. In fact, if you go to the blog post, I have a hyperlink to my other business, the UK WP, and you can just see all the different places that I have been. By the way, my lighting is doing something really funky today, so I'm really sorry that it seems to be going from like an orange to a light. I think it's the sun just keeps going like behind the clouds. I don't know what's happening, but hope it's not putting you off too much. Okay, so discover what publications really suit your brand and then start connecting with those journalists. On Twitter, there's a hashtag journo request. You can look out for that as well. Or on the blog article at the very bottom, I've got 3 resources for you of PR agents and coaches that could support you. So you could work with one just short term, or there are courses that can teach you more about PR. So if you have a little look at the bottom of the bottom of here to take you over to my blog article, and then you'll find the links there. Okay, so you can have a little look at that. And these are people that I know. So, you know, one I've worked with numerous times before, one was a client, and another one I connected to in a networking group, and I've had dinner with her, I've, you know, been on long walks with her, and I trust her explicitly. So all 3 people that I am mentioning are people that I trust. So I won't give them to you. No, I didn't. Okay, 10. God, we're on 10. We're nearly there. 10. Speaking engagements. So raise your profile as an expert and increase your public speaking engagement. So this could be on radio, this could be on stage, this could be doing, I don't know, like Facebook Lives and people's memberships, things like that. Get good at educating other people on your topic of expertise. And by doing this raises your profile. Again, it raises your audience and drive people to your website so they can connect with you there, so that you can add them onto your mailing list, and then you can continue to nurture them. And if I can do it as an introvert, I know you can do it as well. The first time may be scary, but it becomes so much easier, I promise you. Okay, 11, we're nearly there. Email marketing. Consider growing an email list so that if the worst happens with social media, you have still got people that you can liaise with through your emails. You can take them behind the scenes. I do this every week. So in fact, you can sign up to my email below. Each Friday, I give you the behind the scenes of what's happened in my business, the good, the bad, the ugly, anything that I've learned that week. So, you know, feel free to go and do that. Now, the benefit of growing your email list is it does give you the opportunity to nurture your potential clients, to share with them more about you, what makes you tick, and what your expertise is. And there are so many different platforms you can use. So I use MailerLite here at BCC. I use a different system for the UK WP, but actually for me, MailerLite at the moment, may not be forever, but at the moment it works fine for me. And the good news is it is free. So up to 1,000 subscribers, I think it's free. If you need certain features, then you have to pay, but even that is not very much money. There is a sign up link below for you, so you can just click on that. Okay, so our last one, we are at 12. So 12 is industry bodies and or directories. So is there a trade body for your sector? Consider joining this so potential clients can see that you have been vetted and approved. That then gives them the reassurance that you can be trusted, which is a massive factor, particularly for those that join the UK WP, or advertise in directories. So they are doing the hard work of promoting your business, and then you benefit from the leads. Just do your research first to make sure that it is reputable and suitable for you and your sector, and just make sure they're the right organisation to be aligned with. So there we go, that's the 12 different ways that you can market your small business without putting all the emphasis on social media. So I would love to hear from you. Which ones do you do already? Which ones are you going to adopt for this year? Share with me in the comments. I would love to hear from you. So apart from that, thank you very much for your time and for listening. I hope that was helpful. Do pop on over to my blog post where you can read all the tips that I've given you here, and I would love it if you could hit the subscribe button and just like and comment on this video. Thank you, and until next time, take care.